Hey everyone, welcome to our Salesforce Business Analyst series. It's Max from Certify Advantage here. I have just spent 32 hours straight working through the Salesforce Business Analyst credential prep using the trail mixes on Trailhead so you don't have to. I have also completed all the practice tests and passed the exam. With that, I am going to summarize and teach you everything you need to know using some questions that I found on the exam so that you have a solid foundation to pass. Also, if you would like to check out the practice tests I use, check out our platform, Certify Advantage, for free practice tests. With this test, there are 6 key topics you need to master to ace the exam. In today's video, we're diving into user stories questions, which make up 18% of the Salesforce Business Analyst certification exam. This section will go through the components of a user story. It will also teach you how to write acceptance criteria. Lastly, it will explain how to document user stories in a version-controlled repository. Are you ready? Let's get started. Question 1. The business analyst at Universal Containers is writing user stories to support the Salesforce implementation for the sales operations division. There is a request for visibility into sales reps' pipeline so they can see their revenue. Which missing component is necessary to finish this user story? A. Who? B. Why? C. When? The correct answer is A. Who. In order to finish this user story, it is important to include the who component as it specifies who needs the visibility into the sales rep's pipeline. Without this information, it would be incomplete and not provide the necessary details for implementation. Option B. Why is not necessary in this case, as the user story already provides the reason for the request, which is for the sales operations division to see their revenue. Option C. When is not crucial to completing the user story, as it does not specify a time frame or deadline for the implementation. It may be important to have this information for project planning purposes, but is not necessary to finish the user story itself. Question 2. A business analyst captures the following acceptance criteria for a user story about case reassignment in Service Cloud. A service manager can click a reassign button that changes the owner field of the case. A service manager is able to reassign cases as part of the mobile experience. Reassignment functionality can be used on cases that have been auto-reassigned. Service reps are unable to reassign cases. Which mistake was made? A. The criteria are aligned with the user's goal. B. The criteria include solution information. C. The criteria are small and testable. The correct answer is B. The criteria include solution information, which is a common mistake in writing acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria should focus on the user's goals and behavior, not on the technical implementation or specific solution. Option A is incorrect because it is not a mistake, but rather a good practice for acceptance criteria. Option C is also incorrect, as small and testable criteria are important, but not the mistake made in this scenario. Question 3. Universal Containers is developing a new case management solution in Salesforce. The business analyst has started writing user stories to capture feature needs. One user story is the customer case representative wants to take ownership of new cases and communicate with customers so they can provide high-touch customer experiences. Which component of the user story is provide high-touch customer experiences? A. Where? B. Why? C. Assumption. The correct answer is B. Why. Salesforce's documentation defines the why component of a user story as the business value or benefit. In this user story, the business value is providing high-touch customer experiences. The where component would indicate the location or system where the user story takes place, and the assumption component would indicate any assumptions made about the user story. However, neither of these components are present in the given user story. Question 4. CloudKix is planning to create a new Service Cloud Console app for its services team to resolve issues with delayed shipments to customers. The business analyst, BA, wrote the user stories based on a written list of requirements provided by the manager of the services team. Upon stakeholder review with the entire services team, many of the user stories were rejected and the BA had to revise them. When the BA wrote the initial user stories, what was the likely cause of the issue? A. The user stories focused on well-defined personas. B. The project team failed to discuss the user stories as a group. C. The acceptance criteria of the user stories were too specific. The correct answer is B. The project team failed to discuss the user stories as a group. This is because the problem is described as, upon stakeholder review with the entire services team, many of the user stories were rejected and the BA had to revise them. This suggests that the user stories were not thoroughly discussed and reviewed by the project team, specifically the services team stakeholders, before being finalized. Option A is incorrect because well-defined personas would not necessarily cause issues with the user stories. Option C is also incorrect because having specific acceptance criteria can be helpful for ensuring that user stories are clearly defined and achievable. Question 5. The business analyst at CloudKicks is beginning to write user stories for its Salesforce implementation. Which 3 components should be included when writing a user story? A. Who, what, why. B. When, where, why. C. Who, when, why. A is the correct answer because according to Salesforce's documentation, a user story should include 3 components. Who is the user, what do they need to do, and why? This is commonly referred to as the 3 C's of user stories: card, who, conversation, what, and confirmation, why. Option B is incorrect because when and where are not as important as who, what, and why in a user story. Option C is also incorrect because when is not as important as who and why in a user story. Question 6. Universal Containers has scheduled a meeting with stakeholders, business analysts, BAs, and technical resources to review user stories. A BA reviews the user stories in advance of the meeting and notices that some best practices have been ignored. The first user story is focused on escalating cases in Service Cloud. The customer service agent needs the ability to escalate a case so they can assign high-risk cases to Tier 2 support for faster resolution. Acceptance criteria is add permission set. Users can escalate cases, create fields on the case object reports. Which best practice was ignored? A. The who of the user story is well defined. B. The why of the user story is focused on user needs. C. The what of the acceptance criteria is negotiable. C is the correct answer as the acceptance criteria in a user story should be specific, clear, and non-negotiable. They serve as the conditions that must be met for the user story to be considered complete. In the provided user story, the acceptance criteria are quite vague. Clear and well-defined acceptance criteria are essential for a shared understanding among stakeholders, business analysts, and technical resources. They provide a basis for testing and validating that the implemented solution meets the intended requirements. In this case, the acceptance criteria should be more detailed and specific to avoid ambiguity and ensure a successful implementation of the user story. Stating "create fields on the case object" does not specify which fields or what purpose they serve. Similarly, the term "reports" is too broad and lacks details on what kind of reports are expected. Question 7. Universal Containers has asked a business analyst, BA, to assist the sales management team with a request for a new picklist field called Lost Reason on the opportunity object, with the goal of improving pipeline reports. After mapping the managers to the sales leader persona and obtaining feedback from them, the BA has discovered that the managers want to better understand closed lost opportunities so they can help sales teams close more deals. Which option should the BA use to construct the user story? A. As a sales leader, I want to see more details on closed lost opportunities so I can help the sales team improve close rates. B. As a sales team member, I need additional enablement training and reporting information to help the improve close rates. C. As a sales leader, I need a new closed lost reason picklist field on opportunities and better reports to help the sales team improve close rates. A is the correct answer because it accurately reflects the user story from the perspective of the sales leader persona who wants more details on closed lost opportunities in order to help improve close rates for the sales team. Option B is incorrect because it focuses on the perspective of a sales team member needing training and reporting information, which is not the primary goal of the BA's user story. Option C is also incorrect because it specifies the closed lost reason picklist field without highlighting the core objective of understanding closed lost opportunities to improve close rates. Did you get them right? Great job tackling those questions. Those are just a subsection of the exam questions. You can find more similar exam questions in our free practice tests on CertifyAdvantage.com. If you found this video helpful and want more content like this, follow us and send us a message. We'd love to hear from you and help you on your certification journey. Reach out, follow us, and let's ace this exam together.